At this very moment, fellas, you are trading your life hours for dollars. And in today's economy, you would practically need to make $100 an hour to be even equivalent to what they made for $12 an hour in the 70s. If you don't clock in, guess what? You don't get paid. But investing, it changes that. If you as a human being have to work 5 days a week to survive, why shouldn't your money also have to work just as hard as you? All right, that's what I want you to keep in mind when it comes to investing. Your money is making money and working and not just sitting around. Now, stocks, what they do is they let you own a piece of a real business. So you're no longer just a consumer, you become an owner. And owners, guess what? They get paid whether they're working or they're not. Now, you don't have to be rich to start. Investing is not something for rich people. It's how rich people got rich. You can start with $100, but you need to start training your brain to go from consumer to owner. Dive into the steps how to invest your first $1,000. Now, step one is opening a brokerage account. First things first, you need the door before you can walk inside of it. And that door is your brokerage account. Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Robinhood. These are all platforms where you can actually buy stock. These are just like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. They allow you to make transactions in the stock market. Think of it similar to opening a bank account, but instead of holding money, it holds your investments. So simply, you go in, you sign up, you add your bank information, social security number, and boom, you're ready to invest. It takes you less than 20 minutes, all right? And you'll never have to worry about that again. Second step, I want to discuss ETFs versus stock. We hear these terms and oftentimes we don't even know what they are because we don't speak the language of money. So let me break this down for you. Now, the first term you need to know is ticker symbol. A ticker symbol, right, is the short code that you need on the stock market and it represents that company, all right? So an ETF or fund, think about the jersey number on a football player. It's how you identify which player is playing. Ticker symbols help you identify what stock or company you're investing in. All right, so example, for Apple, you wouldn't type in Apple, you would type in AAPL. AAPL is the ticker symbol. You wouldn't type in Amazon, you would type in AMZN. All right, same thing with Tesla. You wouldn't type in the full Tesla, you would type in TSLA. Vanguard 500 ETF, you would type in VOO. All right, Charles Schwab US Dividend Equity Fund, you would type in SCHD. You're going to hear me use these throughout the video. All right, so ticker symbol is the symbols that you need to identify the stock or ETF. So instead of typing out Vanguard, again, index fund, into the search engine, you would just type VOO. Once you're inside, all right, the door, here's the bigger question. Do you buy a stock or do you buy an ETF? Now let's define the difference between a stock and ETF. So in simple terms, stock equals one company. These are usually high reward, high risk. You're putting your money on one player to score all the points. All right, that's essentially what a stock. Now, an ETF, on the other hand, this is a basket of stock. So it spreads the risk. Think of it betting on the whole team instead of one player. That's the difference between the ETF and the stock. For beginners, all right, ETFs are a lot safer. They give you steady growth while you're still learning the game. Now let's discuss step number 3, guys. Here's a simple split for your first $1,000. All right. I would take my first 200 and immediately I'm going to put this into a high yield savings account. Essentially, this is just your safety net. We need to have money put away just in case of emergencies. Emergencies happen all the time. Then I would take $300, right? And I would put that into a dividend ETF like SCHD. Now this pays you cash flow just for holding your money in it. So every 3 months you would get paid based on how the company. The next 300, I want you to go and I want you to put it into another ETF, but this one is going to be VOO. VOO tracks the US top 500 companies. This is a great way to diversify your portfolio. And then the last 200, I want you to personally pick a stock, all right? What stock? Think about something that you love or use every day, all right? and I want you to put the 200 on that. So think about like Netflix. You watch Netflix every day. You order from Amazon every day. You use your Visa card every day. You love Nikes. Instead of actually buying these products, start buying the stock. This way your money is balanced, it's safe, you got some growth, and you have just some personal conviction. The fourth step is understanding compound interest. Here's where it gets fun. Here's where the magic happens. All right. Compound interest is basically your money making money. Imagine if you invested $1,000 and it grows 10% this year. That $1,000 would now be $1,100. Next year it grows another 10%. Now you got 1210 and 1,300. All right. The curve just keeps climbing from just one investment. So your money starts to work for you. But let me tell you this, your first 10,000, now that's where things really change. Your entire life change. All right. $10,000. Now that's your first real milestone. It's where your money stops being a hurdle and it becomes a tool. Because at $1,000, you're still scrambling, you're still figuring it out. It's hard to really do compound interest. All right, 5K, you surviving, you getting there. But at 10K, I promise you, everything changes. And in the beginning, your contributions, what you put into the market, it carries all of the weight. But as time goes on, that compound interest, it starts to help out. It starts to join the fight. And now, instead of, your contributions carrying all the weight, your money starts to do all of the work for you. It's like rolling a snowball down the hill. The longer the hill, the longer the roll, the bigger it gets. That's what compound interest. And then step number 5, all right, you need to understand what drives investments. What makes a stock portfolio go up? What makes a stock go down? So let's get deeper into this. Stocks, they don't just move randomly. It's not just like gambling. They're driven by supply and demand. If more people want to buy a stock, guess what? The price would go up. And it's the same in reverse. If nobody wants it, it goes down. All right. The second factor is news. Let's say a CEO steps down, or a new product launch, or a lawsuit. All of those things, they tell you which way the market is moving. If a new product is coming out, guess what? It's probably going to go up in value. If there been some bad shit that happened to this company in the news, guess what? It'll probably drop in value. And then the third one is company reports. All right. So every 3 months, companies, they have to report their profits and losses. These numbers tell you if the company is growing or if it's sinking. Those are the 3 key factors that you need to pay attention to that helps you scale whether your company is doing good or worth investing in. But remember this, what you do when the market crashes is far more important than what you do when the market is up. All right. Just because a stock crashes, that doesn't mean you panic and pull all your money out. Instead, start looking at it as if it's on sale. You want to buy more of it when the stock crashes, especially if it's a great stock like an Apple or Netflix or Amazon. Don't just throw your money in and forget it. Watch what drives your investments. Learn the rhythm of the market. Just study. It's not hard. None of these people are smarter than you. None of these people work harder than you. They understand the language of money. They understand the language of investments. That's all. In closing, that's how I recommend that you invest your first $1,000. You open your brokerage account, you choose the ETFs over risky picks, and you split your money smart, and then you let the compound interest work for you. And then you understand what actually drives the market, so you're not just out here freestyling. Now remember, your first 1,000, it's not about getting rich. It's about building a habit of investing, so your money starts to work for you, and you're not waiting until you're 30 or 40 to start investing. Now, there's a huge difference between investing in your 20s and investing in your 30s. Compound interest, all right? So that sums up this video. I want you to drop a comment below. What's the first stock or ETF you would buy with your $1,000? And let's see who's ready to play the long game. But I hope this video helps. Peace.